Cumberland Park is a large public park located in West Lafayette, Indiana, and is located along Cowbear Road. It is programmed out with a lot of baseball fields, some softball fields, a dog park, West Lafayette Wellness Center, and most importantly, Sininger Woods Nature Preserve, which is a large forested wetland that takes up a lot of the site. When the client came to me, they were looking for a redesign of the site located right along Cowborough Road and bordered by the yellow trail lines. The needs of the partner were that they wanted native plantings, a flexible gathering space, and some interactive and educational elements. To further look into the client's needs and address what they came to me with what they were wanting for the site, I interviewed two key informants to get a better understanding of the native plantings that should go there and how to establish them. Their input helped me come up with a planting palette for a few different elements, including the interactive plants, wetland plants, and grass prairie plants. And from that, I developed a map to be able to address Cumberland Park as a whole, in addition to the main site that the community partner came to me with originally. To further analyze the site, I moved into a physical site analysis where I visited the site as a user would, walked it like a user would, and picked out points that I thought could use help with native plantings, signage, maybe some gathering space, and laid those out on a map and addressed what kind of elements could be included in those spaces. To further analyze Cumberland Park as a whole, I moved into using GIS site analysis, where I developed a water accumulation map so I could see if there are any places on the site that needed further addressing with native plants, and I can see on the site where this water gathered. So this helped me pick out additional points or solidified my thoughts that an area might need help from my previous round of analysis. Next, I moved on to developing a framework plan to be able to address the main site, put most of my energy into the main site, but also to address Cumberland Park as a whole. I had 3 goals in this framework plan. Goal number 1 was to enhance spaces with native plants. Goal number 2 was to provide educational opportunities for users of all ages. And goal number 3 was to create experiences and gathering space along paths and entrances. Moving on to the design phase, I developed a precedent imagery board to show my stakeholders. Some of the main images on here consist of a boardwalk, which was shown through MKSK's work with University Farm Stormwater Park. That was a big inspiration for this project, so I wanted to include that, as well as some inspiration for native planting layout, and also a sculptural kind of gathering space or pavilion shade structure. From that precedent imagery, I developed a conceptual design of the site that was sketched out. I got a lot of feedback after I did this from both peers and stakeholders. They called out some major problems in my initial design, which I then used to develop my more finalized conceptual plan for the site. And from that feedback, I came to my master plan. Some of the elements that are included in this are the positioning of the new trailhead for the site, a boardwalk system, a main gathering place, a sensory trail that winds throughout the site with sensory plants alongside that trail, and a swale that collects stormwater throughout. It also has 2 entry plazas on either side of the site for users to gain easier access. Once my master plan was done, I moved on to a more detailed design, which included a schematic grading plan. I fully graded out the swale, and then from there I made callouts on how the more complex grading of the site might work. and how that can be accomplished. On the right, I have an inspiration picture for how I want those stone culverts to look going under the sensory trail, as well as developing a section cut of a boardwalk just to show how the standard boardwalk would look throughout my design. So once the master plan and the detailed design for the main site was complete, I wanted to address the rest of the site in a toolkit approach. That included a signage series, which are a series of signs that can be placed throughout the site in places that I thought might need some extra attention. So some of these signs include information about the Indiana forested wetland that is on the site, the plant sensory trail on the main site, naturalized swale also on the main site, and another sign on how to be pollinator friendly since this design focuses a lot around native plants. Next in the toolkit approach includes a planting series. These planting series are also located throughout the site in places where I see fit. So there's the sensory trail palette that will mostly take place on the main site, a wetland palette that will address the forested wetland area, the grass prairie palette that will be located mostly on the main site, but in other places as well, and the signage planting palette, which will accompany the signs that I discussed earlier on the previous slide. Moving into the visuals of the main site, this is a boardwalk view for how it would look like, as well as some little close-up vignettes of significant places throughout the site. That includes the swale and overlook, a boardwalk node that comes down to meet the sensory trail, the entry plazas, and the trailhead entrance. And one final visual for the site just shows how the sensory trail might look along Cowberra Road. It includes elements just showing those interactive plants, the naturalized swale that would run through the site, a bird box, and then the boardwalk in the background.